This morning, Georgia Fort is on location. She is going to be broadcasting from a homeless encampment there in Minneapolis as the local officials have made decisions to take down the very last thing that some people have, their tent. There's a clip that Sister Fort gave us from a previous interview that she did with one of the residents of this tent encampment. We're going to be listening to this clip, but we're also going to be connecting with Georgia there in live as she covers everything that's happening there on the ground at this tent encampment. Let's take a listen to this first clip as Georgia Fort interviews one of the residents of that encampment.
Can you tell me what your thoughts are about this notice that has been put up right here, giving people just, it looks like, less than a week to evacuate?
This right here is just a piece of paper. You see, we burnt it. We don't care about it. When we move, we give up. So we're gonna keep moving. We're gonna keep going. It's like we could move all our tents on the sidewalk and then we're now on public property again. So, you know what I'm saying? I don't think we should move. I'm not moving. I'm putting up a fight. This is actually a tent in the tent because it gives more shade because it's hot right now. It's a little dirty, but I mean, I got a bed. I got a table. We get dropped off food every day, so they feed us. Porta potties are down there at the end of this spot and at the top of this hill. So they give us bathrooms. But they just don't give us showers and stuff, so showers are real hard to get.
Are you ever concerned for your safety?
No, because I've been in a tent for 7 years now, and I've never got touched. I don't put myself in situations like that.
People who don't quite understand why is it that you choose to live in a tent?
Well, actually, I don't choose to live in a tent. It's housing is not easy for a person that has one kid or no kids at all. They don't help us. They don't give us, they say got a lot of resources, but not for single people. Not like that, especially women. When they say it's a women's state, it's not a women's state. If you don't have your kids or you're not doing something with your life, you can't get help, period. They look at you down.
Do you have children?
I have one. I have a 9-year-old daughter.
And where does your daughter stay now?
With my little cousin. I temporarily signed her to her, so she's not out here with me. I actually walked out of my housing because they took my daughter. So I choose to be outside with my family. The one that's in the red is my little brother. I choose to be out here with my family instead of being in a home because they didn't have a home. So why would I look like being in a home without my family?
Now, what you're looking at on your screen is additional footage from the encampment. What's scheduled to happen this morning, and this is where Georgia Fort is this encampment is scheduled to be torn down. Now, we see this happening all across the country. These scenes are familiar. We've seen it in California. We've seen it here in Atlanta. Homelessness abounds around this country, and yet it seems to be something that we can't solve as a nation, not because we don't have the resources, but because we don't have the political will. We're dealing with a nation that just spent $2 trillion plus in a 20-year war that ended with nothing more than us retreating. And that's because we have a fixation on spending all of our wealth on war, but never to take care of the situation that so many Americans are finding themselves in across this country of every race, at every ethnicity, every religion. There is homelessness in this country. And we are also faced with the situation of a housing crisis in general. This is something that is replicated across the country, without question. Sister Fort, we want to bring you in. Dwayne, if we have her, let's pull her up on the screen. Just tell us what's going on and what you're seeing from your location.
An eviction happening by the city of Minneapolis, as you can see here. Folks who have been staying in tents in this area are being forced out by the city. We've seen, if you look over here, you can see one of the city vehicles there, along with one of the person's belongings. And if you take a look this way, you can see a very large dump truck. They've actually sectioned off quite a bit of the road. You can see all of those cars. They're not allowing anybody to pull up to this area, which also makes it very difficult if you're trying to move your things and there's another city vehicle that way. We're going to go in. Folks have been staying here pretty much all throughout the summer. And then now that it's October, it is starting to get chilly. We noticed maybe about, I would say, a week ago, the city started putting notices saying that people needed to be out of the area. Let's see, I think maybe this is one of the notices. Notice of vacation, or to vacate. Notice to vacate is what that says, rather. And so those were put up about a week ago. They started asking people to take a look here. And there's two sections to this encampment. There's this one here to be respectful for people's homes, because people do live here. I'm not going to go too much further down. But if you take a look here, you can see in there, you can see that there are several tents, somebody's couch there. People live here. This is where they've been living all throughout the spring and the summer, and now because the city has put up these notices, they're forced to leave. So you see people who are starting to pack up their stuff. An individual here who has a bike trailer who has been making several trips, I believe, not just of their own belongings, but helping other people pack up their stuff as well. And so we're going to head back this way and try to see if we can talk to anybody in the encampment. I did talk to about 4 people last week to ask them, did they feel like they had gotten sufficient time to move their stuff? Did they feel like the city was working with them to help them provide resources? And for the most part, people did say that they felt like the city was doing the best that they could to connect them with the resources that they need. But then there was a few people who just simply said that they don't plan to leave, that they've been here and they plan to stay here, that this is public property and they don't understand why they have to move in the first place. From the city's perspective, I did speak to a city staff member yesterday off the record because, as I've been sharing, the city of Minneapolis declined my request for an interview. So that makes it hard to report on what resources they're providing because they won't talk to me. But I pulled, it was a brother aside who was working for the city, and I said, listen, I just need to know what are you guys actually doing for the people that you're asking to move? And what he told me, he said that there's 30 rooms for women to move into a shelter. He said that they're providing storage for people's belongings for 14 days. And then he also said that they're working on a contract to be able to provide some people to stay in a hotel until they find shelter, or at least for up to 90 days. So we're going to have a number of people in 90 days. If they don't find shelter, if they don't meet those eligibility requirements, they're going to be right back into that same situation. Now this individual here, he's actually with the National Lawyers Guild. We see them out a lot at times like this or times during protests to help people with legal aid. But here you have another individual. I'm going to kind of poke around and see if anybody's comfortable talking. Sure. And so, again, not everybody is very open about sharing their experiences. But again, if you take a look over here, you can see the city of Minneapolis is there. Trailers just arrived with a truck full of more city workers. They weren't very transparent about exactly how they're going to be transporting people's things to storage or to a shelter. So potentially that's what this trailer could be for, but we weren't able to verify that information. Ben, I'm going to go ahead and swing things back to you because there's another section of this encampment that's about a half a block away that we're going to head over to. And so when we come back, we're going to be at the other side of this encampment to show you. At the time when I arrived about maybe 10 minutes ago, there was no city workers there, but I did see Public Works drive through. I also saw a few other city marked vehicles drive through, and so potentially they're starting to do the evictions on that side as well. So we'll come back and show you the other side, but for right now I'm going to swing it back to you. And for those of you who are live on this stream natively, is
all right, Georgia, thank you so much. We'll get that update if you don't mind sending that to us. Thank you for the coverage that you're giving us there. I want to swing back to the national coverage because as we look at what's happening there in Minneapolis, we see it happening in California. We see it happening here in Georgia, Atlanta, Georgia. There are homeless populations that are struggling in the middle of a pandemic, and these homes are now being destroyed. I want to play a clip from Mitch McConnell. This clip is the response to the debt ceiling fight, and it is so important that we understand the games that are being played because these games have actual ramifications. I just want to start this segment by saying there's literally no reason for homelessness to exist in this empire. We have enough empty homes. We have enough wealth. It is a policy decision.